Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Let's Play Half-Life. I'm Phil.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Curtis.
And we've been gone for, God, how long?
It's been like 6 months.
Like a year?
Like.
It's been a year since quarantine.
Oh, the sensitivity, though.
We're still playing all the way up until like November.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!
Oh, I
That's
remember this
right.
part. Yeah, you're
there it is.
terrible at
Dude.
this. Oh, no, you're not.
Oh,
no,
that's
you are.
right. No, Chris died here like 150 times.
Oh.
Yep, I remember
Oh,
now.
yeah. And that thing kills you.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
we're doing really well.
I didn't
so
remember how
far.
to crouch. Yep.
Yeah,
so-
Whoa there. No, that is not the right one.
When's the last? Because it was after. When's the last time we recorded?
It was back in like
It's-
November.
it's been a
Maybe
while.
December.
In December.
No, we didn't record in December.
It was when you went back to 6 days a week for work.
Forever.
Yeah, I
Forever
think
and ever.
it is definitely before the election. That's for
Oh,
sure.
yeah, that's a long time ago. Holy moly.
A lot of things have happened. Like, it's funny though, because YouTube is awful. But I mean, like, since we're not
Portal.
watching Chris get wrecked, since we're not technically monetized, do we have to follow the same rules? Like, technically, we're not supposed to. Oh, no, you should have loaded from the other one, apparently.
So, can you guys hear? Oh, hey, you guys can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, right. I remember now. You were here.
Yeah, we were.
And I can hear
And
the
you
game
couldn't get
audio
past
too,
us.
which is nice.
Yeah. Dude, I'm not going to lie. So, for people who are out there wondering what we're talking about, me and Kurt have not been able to hear the game audio since
This entire time, almost.
the
Yeah.
entire time you've been playing.
We had to do screen shares, so it didn't.
Because
Yeah.
the game wouldn't share. That's right.
Oh, man. Why is it working
that's
now?
Hilarious. Dude, I don't know. Did Chris upgrade his computer? Bro, since the last time we recorded, the 3080 dropped and has sold out multiple times.
Oh, dude. So I got up at 4 in the morning to buy it, and
Yeah.
like everyone else, sat there trying not to kill myself as I added to my card over and over,
All
and
that
then
for.
would get it to purchase, and then it wouldn't go through, and everything. Can I help you?
No,
For God's sake, woman, what are you doing?
that's a little rude.
You looked in here like 6 times already. It didn't magically appear in there again.
It did. It did. That's how things work.
Well, that's fun.
So, as a new husband, I've realized that when you become a husband, you lose the ability to see things that are in front of you. It's magic. I don't know how it works.
I need to
You had that
mess with my
ability
brightness.
beforehand?
No. Like, no. I always knew where things were. But when you get married, you lose the ability to find things. Like,
Oh, that
Okay,
was
I
it.
have a theory
It's-
behind it, and you're not gonna like it. Okay?
I don't what.
It's
Am I
because
not gonna like it, or people not gonna like it?
People aren't gonna like it.
Oh, fuck.
It's because we leave our stuff where we know it is, so I can always find it because I left it there. But when you're married, there's someone else that's always touching your goddamn shit.
Look, this is a point of contention that I agree. 1,000% I agree with that statement. The only problem is, like, you can't say that to the individual that you're communicating with. You're like, oh, hey, where's my insert random item? They're like, I don't know, I'm not the keeper of it. And you're like, okay, I'll go find it. And then, like, you find it in a place that
drawer?
isn't your normal
drawer?
place. Like, it's not the normal place where you would put it. You're like, well, these are my keys, and my keys usually go in destination A, and you find them in destination, like, X. Like, not even destination B, not your top 3 places where you put things. It's not in the top 3.
Yeah.
But then you have, like, you can't say that, because then it just creates
No,
tension.
that's not true. I've said it, and I'm like, I have never, ever in my life left it here. Never once have I ever put ever in the history of ever. So, and so I'm
Let's do
pretty
this for real
strongly
time.
sure that I did it better.
God damn it. Well, like, so I've come to terms with my mental. Oh my god.
You're dead.
That thing is fast.
You're so dead. 9 health. Yeah. I don't see any issues. Oh, 4 health.
Oh my goodness. So I've come to terms with my mental capacity, and I've established recently in the whole quarantine year that I have possibly a mental disorder that I've come to just assume that I have some form of ADD.
We were talking about that and agreed to that way before.
Yeah, that was during quarantine, but I'm like 80% sure I have it because I realized, and I did some research into it, and ADD is a little bit different than ADHD because ADHD, you jump from thought to thought, but yeah. ADD at its core is a information reception issue. Your brain does not perceive or retain the information that is being absorbed, like the information that your eyes, ears, and your senses perceive isn't stored properly in your own brain. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like when you're talking to someone, people with ADD have a tendency people have ADD have a tendency to be able to tune people out easier. Can get distracted. Really? Yeah, can be distracted easily by thoughts, or their own internal monologue can get them off track. So like,
yeah, that's my life.
The other day I was talking about going to see, like right now our whole conversation was about, maybe that's why people don't like watching us, because we're all ADD and we jump from topic to topic because we were talking about finding things on the ground,
keys,
and then now we're talking about ADD. But basically what it comes down to is when I put my keys down, like 60% of the time, I don't remember putting them down. Does that make sense? Like my brain doesn't retain the information that I put them somewhere. So then when they end up in place X, Y, or Z, I get told, oh, you're just forgetful. You put them there. And I want to be like, no, I didn't, motherfucker. There's a reason why I put them I put them in A, B, and C because I have established this issue with my own brain. So I have to put them in places that I routinely put them, or I won't find them
ever again. But then like the problem you have is, because I'm just hyper aggressive, unfortunately, is that you argue all these times, right? And I mean 90% of the time you're right. That 10% when you're wrong.
90%. Dude, I've only been married for a year, and I am not batting 90% according to her. That's all I'm saying.
Well, no. Like, according to that,
I don't know.
I'm batting 0, but no, I know for a fact I'm batting 90%, and I'll fight it. And I know it, I'll fight it. But there's a few times where I fought it, and then I realized, and she's called me out, and I'm like, you know what? You're right. Because I'm mad enough. Man. I'm mad enough.
That is
you're right.
The
you know
worst.
What? You're right. I'll call myself
out. The problem
out,
is, look,
God, because then you gotta apologize and everything. Because now you're the asshole.
And then that one time you're wrong becomes like the battle cry for the next 8 to 10 arguments. You're like, oh, remember that one time you're wrong? You're like, look, you're right about that, but I mean, come on, you got to bring that up again and again and again. Like, come on.
I'll just go like, hey, I'll admit when I'm wrong. Like, I'll argue with you, and when I realize that I'm wrong, I'll be like, you know what? You're right. I'm wrong. Like, but you know what? That's not really a two-way street.
I think the worst thing is like, I legit have issues. Oh, Jesus. I have issues like remembering conversations. Like, and it's gotten to the point where like other people have pointed out to me, I'm like, oh, you said this, didn't you? And they're like, no, they didn't. And I was like, oh shit. But the biggest issue I have with when arguing like who was right, I don't need to be right. But I swear there are some times that we have a conversation and I think it goes away, and then I walk away from that conversation thinking I had a certain conversation, and then later in life it comes up and they have a different conversation than I had. I swear to God. Like, I'm pretty sure we had 2 different conversations.
Yeah, no,
and then like those are the worst arguments because there's no way to prove either one's right, because it's just like, well, you said this. Well, no, I said this.
It's like,
well, no, you said this. And I was like, I don't know how to solve this.
I know exactly.
And then there's no winning. There's no one wins in that argument because you both feel like you're not being listened to properly.
The way to win that argument, and I'll tell you right, the way to win that argument is to just say you're sorry and admit you're wrong.
I don't think that's a win.
That's the only place it's gonna go.
That's the only way the argument's gonna end without someone getting mad.
That's it. Like that's your only way through. That's just the way it is.
The only problem is when I get into those arguments, like there's a moment where I'm like, shit, am I going senile? Because I honestly don't remember that happening that way. And now I have to sit here and wonder if my brain's failing me.
You just sit there and you think of it, like you go through the whole thing all over again. Like, okay, this is exactly what happened, and you're going through it, and you're like, fuck, did that happen? Like, god damn it, am I like what I have for breakfast today? God damn it!
Whoa! You don't gotta attack me like that just because I never remember what I have for breakfast. Doesn't mean I have a bad memory.
It just spirals from there, you know.
Oh man, that's the thing though. Is like when you have, I genuinely think because like I consistently on a day-to-day basis don't remember what I eat for breakfast. That's a normal. That's part of the course at this point.
Easy. I know what I ate for breakfast.
So like when you have that mentality and you have a conversation with another individual and they're also aware of the fact that you don't know what you had for breakfast, when you try to bring up an argument about memory, they're like, dude, you don't remember what you had for breakfast. How do you expect to win this argument about what happened? You're like, look, you're right, but I know I'm right about this.
Like, that's because I don't need to remember what I have for breakfast. I remember this because it's important information.
Oh
man. Yeah, no, good times. Yeah.
Hi,
Chris. How you doing?
If anyone's actually listening
I'm
to
failing
this,
at life.
Yeah, it's kind of hilarious. If anyone's actually listening to this, please know that I love my wife through the moon and back. Like, my other half, I love her to pieces. But sometimes, man, like, I have to question my own sanity.
Yup. No, I'm definitely. No, I love my wife. Been married 11 years, going on 12.
Shit, really?
12
Yeah,
years.
yeah. 12 years. May.
You know, that's pretty impressive.
Especially since you're so young and dumb, you know? That shit never works out. Made it work, bitch. Well, who says you gotta think about who says you gotta think about consequences, man? You just fucking do it.
It's so funny though, like I have like this just do it. Worry about consequences later.
Oh,
There's something unique about my relationship, like, cause in our family, out of the 6 of us, there was really only 2 individuals that were in a relationship longer than a year before getting married.
Yeah.
But the 2 people that waited more than a year waited like 12 years.
Yeah, and both went to college.
Yeah. It's just such a unique like it's such an interesting point, like, because like to me, like when I see a relationship, they're like, oh, they've only known each other for a year and they're getting married. To me, that's like preposterous. I'm like, how do you even know? Like, I'll be honest, like maybe it's because I was so young when we got in a relationship. I didn't know that the person I'm currently with was gonna be the person I'm gonna be with. I didn't know if we were gonna get married. Like, I always thought of it in the back of my mind, but I wasn't sure until like I think around year 8 when we both moved to different sides of the state for college. And that's when I really realized, like, oh, I really do love this person, and like they make my life better. Just being around them makes me happier. But like that like took 6-7 years of my life to figure out that person was the person. And so like people that get married,
the easiest way for me is like I've had like serious girlfriends and not serious girlfriends, and like, you know, I never really knew the difference like when going through that, except for like a few of them, you know. You know, you thought like you marry them, but just it never works out. And then just with Ashley, it just hit different, you know. I don't know what it was, because I never once was like, I want to ask someone to marry me. That never was in my mind. And then we were only together for like 7-8 months when I asked her to marry me.
Yeah, and there were determining factors.
I mean,
on top of that.
No, because that didn't come into my mind at all. It wasn't. It just like that's what I mean. It's just like something like, because I was talking about asking her to marry me in December. Before if you're wondering what we're talking about, is I got her pregnant. Obviously, I got her pregnant, okay? Obviously. We were talking about consequences and fuck that shit.
Consequences for your actions.
No, ain't worry about that shit.
It seems to be a theme in your life.
Right?
But I think that's all the time we have for today. So if you liked it, go ahead and press the like button. If you want to see some more, don't forget to subscribe. And who doesn't want to watch us talk about our relationships while Chris completely fails at playing a video
You're
game?
in the same spot this whole time.
We've moved forward a whole room, to be fair. The last time we were here 6 months ago, we were in the other room, and now we're in this room. We're really making progress here.
Oh,
But thank you for watching. Bye.
bye.
Bye.